Hello everybody, I'm Yu-Gi-Oh! Deckmaster, and it's time for another deck special! Hello everybody, my name is Yu-Gi-Oh! Deckmaster 41, aka Jason Lee 41, aka Jason. As always, I'm bringing a random deck special. This is the current deck I'll be working on in locals. The last one, Ride, actually did pretty well for me until the branded stuff came out, and then, well, branded's kind of busted, so I decided, well, if you can't beat them, jump on the bandwagon. So I created my own variation of a branded deck, and still 60 cards because I just like 60. I don't know why. I find it fun. So here's the build. Got the standard Grim Reaper token, as you can see. Then we're going to have a Dogmatika engine. No punishment, because we don't want to be extra deck locked. We got one Flurry. I'm trying to get out of the... I wonder if that helps. That just makes it so dim. There. One Flurry, 2 Ecclesia, and 2 Nadir Servants. That's it. This will set you up for the next turn. You do it at the end of your turn. You send an Albion to search out Branded Fusion, or if I can get a Bish Dragon and sneak this Saturday, you can send it to even search out Fusion Destiny, depending, of course, on the ban list. Everybody says it's going to 1, so we'll see. And Ecclesia searches out Flurry, and Flurry is basically a negate. So you run that engine, then you run the branded engine. We got 3 springing kits. What this card does is it adds Branded Fusion from deck to hand, and then you take a card in your hand and put it at the bottom of your deck. So this basically turns 1 card in your hand into Branded Fusion. To play the Branded Fusions, you must run Albaz, so I got 2 of him. He's not a horrible brick, he does help break boards, but you mostly want to get him off of Branded Fusion. Now, there's people out there playing Light Hexiled Fusion, because it can be treated as a fusion substitute for whatever, and using Branded Fusion, revealing Albion, you can send it straight from your deck to the grave, and then Albion sends out, banishes it. You can go into things like Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, or the tech card I'm running. And probably many, many other options that we're not even thinking of. But Light Hexil's a little costly right now, so I went the more budget-friendly route, and also prettier route, in my opinion. But it does the same thing. One Goddess of the Third Eye, well, Goddess with the Third Eye, I should say. She is light, so she works the same as Hexiled, and her effect is she's treated as a fusion substitute. But all of the materials must be correct. Then we got 1 Quad Shadal Kias, the only light main deck Shadal you can send off Albion, and then banish either Albaz or Albion and it to bring out Winda, turn 1. We got triple Branded Fusion because it sends materials from the deck, including Albaz. It's kind of nuts. Then we move on to, for now, the Destiny package. We'll see. Of course, standard Celeste, Dasher. If Celeste is the one to take the hit instead of Fusion Destiny, I have right here 1 Destiny Hero Denier, which can resurrect itself 1 time. Won't get the draws, but I get something at least. If Fusion Destiny takes a hit and I get a Bish Dragon and Fusion Destiny's at 1, I'll probably still play it because I can search it. If Fusion Destiny or DPE get banned, I'll probably take these 2 out for another Fleur, another monster, and 2 Super Poly. I just don't know what the other monster is off the top of my head just yet. And of course we got the 2 Fusion Destinies. We're still running the Invoked package because you get locked into fusion summoning with Branded Fusion, so got our Secret Rare Alistairs from Shiva. Searches Invocation when summoned and can be discarded to boost the fusion, any fusion, not even an Invoked, any fusion, by 1,000 attack and defense. 1 Invocation, secret rare from Fusion Enforcers. I do have 2, but I find it quite bricky when you draw Invocation and you don't draw freaking Alistair. It's very annoying, and it really hurts your deck. So I run 1. I know a lot of you are going to disagree with that decision, but I do. Then we got a triple Secret Meltdown, also from Fusion Enforcers. This just adds Alistair to your hand, and if you activate a fusion spell, it cannot be negated. Its activation can't be negated. It can still be Ash, though, so be warned on that. It just can't have its activation negated, and your opponent can't activate any type of effect when a fusion monster is summoned. So the second a monster is summoned within the summon window, your opponent can't do shit. So Albion and Lubellian's effect will go off if that's out, and your opponent can't do a damn thing to stop it. We got Secret Terraforming because Invocation's a little bit more important this time around due to the fact that, it's a fusion-based deck. You want to see Alistair quickly. We got our hand traps. We got a triple Ash Blossom, Joyous Spring. Basically, your opponent does anything with their deck, you're going to discard and negate it once per turn. Double Ghost Ogre. They activate an effect on the field of a card that's already face up, and you can discard to destroy. Double Ghost Spell if they touch their grave or banish zone. Negate. This negates the activation, of course. And triple Imperm. No Veilers this time. Wanted to make room for some other options. Then we got our leftover spells. We got a triple Book of Moon. This is actually a defensive and an aggressive card. You can book them on your opponent's monsters, but at the same time, if, say, you activate Alistair's effect, or Albion, or Lubellian, or anything on the field's effect, and your opponent goes Imperm, or Veiler, or some other kind of target your monster negate, you can flip it face down, and it'll resolve. And remember, fusion materials can be used if they're face down. We also got a triple Forbidden Chalice. If I had droplets, I would totally be doing that. But Chalice is all I have available. Target a monster, negate its effects to gain 400 attack. Then we got one Call by the Grave. Sorry for the glare. I do not know how to get rid of that. One Harpy's Feather Duster, in case you go against the random back row decks. Then we're on to the traps. Triple Ice Dragon's Prison, because it's just really a good trap. You can use it, you do run a few links, so you can use it as materials, or just beat the shit over your opponent's head with their monster, or banish a card on the field. So it really gives options, and it's non-targeting banishing, which is really nice. Then we got a triple Canadia, basically Book of Moon in trap form. Same concept, defensive or aggressive as Book of Moon. I was going to run Ring of Destruction here, but Ring of Destruction is a once per turn and has a lot of restrictions. And Crackdown just doesn't do enough because you don't really link that much. You run very few link monsters, and maybe even less after the ban list. So Canadia seems to be a pretty good interruption. Then we got a triple Compulsory Evacuation Device, just bounce a monster back to hand. Triple Solemn Strike, pay 1,500, negate a special summon or a monster effect. And Solemn Judgment, normal or inherent special. And any spell or trap, pay half your life points, negate, and say no. And that's my deck. We'll go ahead, I'll put that back. We'll go ahead and go through the extra deck. Let me take a drink real quick, though. Alright, we got double Mirror Jade. This requires Albaz and a extra deck monster, Link, Fusion, Xyz, or Synchro. And once every other turn, soft once per turn basically, but it's once every other turn, You can send an Albaz Fusion from your extra deck to the grave, and if you do, banish a monster on the field, and it's a quick effect. And if he leaves the field by an opponent's effect, during the end phase, nuke all monsters your opponent controls. We got triple Albion. I want to replace one of these with Abyss Dragon, but we'll explain this first. Albion requires a Fallen Albaz and a light monster. Keep in mind, Branded Fusion sends materials from deck. So you're going to send a light monster and Albaz, and then when this card's summoned, he can banish materials from the hand, field, or graveyard, and fusion summon a level 8 or lower fusion monster. So this is how you get into your shenanigans with Light Hex-Sealed Fusion or Goddess with the Third Eye, and Winda with the Quad Shadal Kias. And when if he's sent to the graveyard at the end of the turn, you can either add Albaz, or is it Albaz? No, you can add a branded spell or trap from your deck to your hand. This gets you Branded Fusion. So this is the main thing you're going to send off of Nadir Servant and off of Mirror Jade. Now, Abyssal Dragon does basically the same thing. You're never going to summon Abyssal Dragon, really. He can attack a monster, up to 2 monsters per battle phase. And I think he has some other effects, but his main effect is if the turn he's sent to the graveyard, at the end of the turn, you can add any fusion spell or polymerization normal spell. So you basically, and fusion normal spell. You can basically get Destiny Fusion, Neos Fusion, Red Eyes Fusion, etc., or Branded Fusion. And that just gives you a little bit more options to sim with Mirror Jade or Nadir Servant to set up for next turn, since you would be extra deck locked if you use Nadir Servant. You got one Lubellion. He requires a Darken Albaz. When he's summoned, you discard a card, and you can shuffle materials from your face-up Banish Zone, grave, I think hand, and field. Let's see, from monsters from field, grave, and or face-up Banish, so not hand. But he can't attack for the rest of the turn. And it's level 8 or lower fusion you can summon. So this works good as an option because you can always shuffle itself back in to always have a target. And an Albaz, of course, to go into like Mirror Jade and stuff. Then I run I run a few techs, I guess you could say. First tech I run El Shadal Winda, which you make with Albion by sending Quad Shadal. Then you banish either Quad and Albaz or Quad and Albion. I say banish the Albaz. And then you get Winda on the field and another 2500 attacker and Albion. And they can both attack, and your opponent, special summon once per turn. And then if you banish the Fusion Substitute and Goddess of the Third Eye, you get access to Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon, which just needs blue eyes. That's what she's treated as, and a dragon monster. Albaz and Albion are both dragons. This card is unaffected by trap cards. Unaffected by trap cards or their effects. This card can attack all monsters your opponent controls once each, and then once per turn during the end of the damage step. If this card battled, you can target one trap in your grave and set it to your spell or trap card zone. So this gets back your traps, attacks everything, and is unaffected by traps. Pretty nice. One Destiny Hero, Phoenix Destroyer. Might be my last hurrah with him if the ban list comes out. Target a card on either side of the field, pop it, and if he's destroyed by anything, battle or effect, you can activate the effect in the grave. On the next standby phase, special summon a D hero. And then, of course, for the Invokes, we got Makaba, Omni Negate. Just got to discard a card of the same type, usually a monster or trap. Invoked Agadios. This requires a light in Alistair. This requires a Alistair and a fusion monster, but remember, Invocation can banish from the grave. On summon, it pops a card, and once per turn when your opponent summons a monster, special summons, I believe, you can target one monster on the field that they control and destroy it. And then you can also banish a fusion, and it'll gain its attack until the end of the opponent's turn. One Purgatria, Fire, and Alistair. It can attack every monster your opponent controls once each. Does piercing and gains 200 attack for each card they have. And then the only links, you run 1 Artemis, the Magistus Moon Maiden. It's a light, and it just requires Alistair, so you trib it off Alistair to go into that. The rest of the effects don't matter. Banish it and Alistair to go into Macabre. 1 Verte Anaconda, pay 2,000. Send Branded Fusion, usually to the grave, to bring out Mirror Jade, or Destiny Fusion to bring out Destroyer Phoenix, but this will probably get banned and replaced with something else. And then, because I run a lot of high levels, 1 Blackluster Soldier, Soldier of Chaos. If I use a level 8 or higher, or level 7 or higher, he can't be targeted or destroyed by opponent's effects, and if he destroys a monster by battle, I can activate one of these effects. He gains 1,500, can make a second attack during the next battle phase, or banish 1 card on the field non-target-wise. He's a bitch to get over. Now we'll move on to the side. Going as fast as I can. Of course, we're going to switch tokens to the Nibiru token. We got triple Nibiru. Opponent summons a monster 5 times. In a turn, you summon this by attributing every monster on the field. Your opponent gets a token equal to their attack and combined attack and defense of all monsters distributed. You get this 3,000. We run 1 Necroroid Banshee and 1 Zombie World. Lubellian can send Necroroid Banshee because it's a Dark and Albaz from the deck. Discard a card to your fusion plays, and this has a quick effect to banish itself from field or grave. To activate this from deck. And Zombie World turns everything on the field and in the graves to zombie, which can fuck a lot of decks like Tri-Brigade and Flunderines. We got double Lightning Storm, double Twin Twister, back row hate, evenly, everything hate, really. And then when going first, 3-dimensional barriers. You mix this in with something like Window or Zombie World, and you got yourself pretty good lockdowns for your opponent. And that is my deck. If you like, please rate, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you think. And as always, keep your loved ones safe, including your fur children. And until next time, peace out, rock on.